Hello students, welcome to the online classes of GSI PU College, Mysore. I am Suma, economics lecturer. From today's session of first PUC economics, let us start the lessons related to topic A, that is statistics for economics. When I was introducing the syllabus to you at the first session of first PUC economics itself, I have introduced you all the lessons that are there in this section. And now for this particular year, 3 lessons are deleted and totally you have to study 6 lessons. Earlier there were 9 lessons in section A, and now the 6 lessons are retained for this particular year. And today in this session I will introduce all the 6 lessons briefly, and from the next session let us move towards the lessons and different topics related to lesson 1. So, the first lesson of this part A is introduction. That is, it introduces you about the topics related to the economics as well as statistics, and it also explains you about the relationship of statistics in the area of economics. It shows and also it explains you about how they are interrelated. Economics cannot be interpreted without statistics, and statistics is a very good branch of knowledge which helps the details of data to be presented in a concise and precise form which is even understandable to the undereducated also and to the illiterate also. So, now let us move towards the first lesson of this section, that is introduction. So, in this first lesson we are learning that what is economics, what are the meanings and definitions of economics, and why statistics has been included in economics, and also about the advantages, scope and limitations of statistics. The first lesson, that is introduction, also introduces you about the 4 important economic activities like production, consumption, distribution and exchange, and how the economics is totally involved, and how all these 4 types of economic activities are the integral parts of economics, and how are the data that are expressed from statistical point of view that are derived from the economic observations. You all know that economics is the study of the ways to satisfy the unlimited human wants with limited resources. That is, our ends are unlimited, wherein to satisfy these ends we have only limited resources. So therefore, this first lesson introduces you about the statistics and economics and the need for inclusion of statistics in economics. The second lesson of this part A is about the collection of data. You all know that data is a word that is derived from details, that is, each and every factor is collected, informations related to each and every economical factor is collected in detail, and they are concised and are presented in a precise way, and after that only they are called as data. So, the collection of data. This lesson includes about the collection of data, and the data are collected from 2 major sources, and the first one is primary data, second one is secondary data. These are based on the sources from which they are originated. And also here we study about the methods of survey, sampling, and also about the telephonic interviews as well as personal interviews. Of all these four types of collection of data, that is survey, sampling, telephonic personal interview and telephone interview, we are also learning about the advantages and disadvantages of this, as well as we study about the loss of information in the collection of data at the time of collection of data, as well as errors that happen during the time of collection of data. The errors may be of sampling and non-sampling pattern, and how to correct these errors also is discussed in this lesson. And also the major topic of this second lesson is the census in India. You all know about that. In every decade, once in every 10 years, census is being done in our country, and also about the major source of information that is provided by the government of India, that is National Sample Survey Organization. This lesson is very important because this forms the base for the future lessons. As we collect the data, we have to classify it and organize it, and as well as we have to present it in a simple manner that can be understandable to each and everyone. So let us see about the third chapter under part A, organization of data. This lesson says you about the collection of data. As the data are collected at first through these two sources, primary sources as well as secondary sources, they are all unclassified data. These unclassified data are called as the raw data, and they are classified. This classification is done in four major ways, that is in the chronological order, one type of classification is done, in geographical order another type of classification is done, and through qualitative classification and quantitative classification another two categories are done. This lesson also says about the class limits, the class intervals, and the way of prescribing the class limits, that is it has two types. One is inclusive method as well as another one is the exclusive method. Also this lesson explains you about the range, that is the difference between the minimum value to the maximum value. This lesson also explains you about the finding of frequencies through the very basic method of tally marking, and also this lesson explains you about the two types of the data. They are the bivariate data and the univariate data. So in our fourth lesson, we have the information related to the presentation of data. As we have collected the data through the very two important sources like primary data and secondary data, we learned to organize these data through the four types of classification, that is chronological, geographical, qualitative as well as quantitative. So when once these unclassified data or the raw data are classified and arranged, they have to be presented in a very simple manner which can be easily understandable by a layman also. So therefore here comes the types of textual presentation of data as well as the tabular presentation of data. Here in the textual presentation of data, the data that are collected and organized and as well as classified will be presented in the form of a paragraph or text, wherein in the case of tabular presentation they are presented in the form of a table. Here we learn to present the data in the form of a table with the arrangement of rows and columns, and also we learn in detail about the parts of a table, and you will be learned to draw a blank table, and in the examination it is even asked to draw a blank table and explain the parts of a table. Here even the data are presented in the form of one dimensional bar diagram as well as two-dimensional bar diagrams. Here bar diagrams are used, multiple bar diagrams used, component bar diagrams are used, as well as the multiple bar diagrams are used to present different types of data. In everyday newspaper, if you go through, you can see lots of data are presented in the form of bar diagrams, so that you can understand the details that are presented, and they are arranged in both x axis as well as y axis. Here they mention the years, and here they mention about the quantities that are produced. Particularly it is helpful to understand by the farmers about the agricultural data that is presented in the form of a bar diagram. So all these tools are helpful for the presentation of data, and they also minimize the cost as well as they simplify the information that are conveyed through the pictures. Here they also make use of the frequency polygons. It is one more way of presenting the frequency polygon is one more way of presenting the data, and here we use about the frequency diagrams as well as the ogives. Here we have two types of ogives. We learn about two types of ogives, that is less than ogive and more than ogive. Arithmetic line graph is one more type of presentation of data, and in this lesson we learn about that also. The fifth lesson of part A is a very important lesson from the point of view of your examination, and this includes some problems related to the calculation of the most commonly used averages like arithmetic mean, median and mode. The calculation of the arithmetic mean for grouped data as well as ungrouped data is learnt in this lesson. The calculation of arithmetic mean through simple method, through assumed mean method, as well as through weighted mean method, and as well as through the step deviation method is also discussed in this lesson. And also about the geometric mean, harmonic mean and also the weighted mean method is also learnt in this lesson. As well as we also learn to calculate the median, that is the mid value of a series, that is also learnt here, as well as the computation of mode is also discussed. And the quartiles, calculation of quartiles as well as percentiles are taught in this lesson. The quartiles, as the name says, the series are divided into quarters, and as the name says here in percentiles, the series are divided into percentages. So this is also taught, and at the end we also learn about the interrelationship between these three most commonly used averages, that is the relative position of mean, median and mode. Here mean is referred as ME, median is referred as MI and mode is referred as MO. Mean is always greater than median and median is always greater than mode. What are these mean, median, modes and how they are interrelated will also be learnt in this lesson. In the sixth lesson, we'll discuss about the topic related to the index numbers. Index numbers are the statistical devices used to measure the magnitude of change that occur in the grouped variables. So these index numbers act as the mouthpiece of the overall function of the economy, and in terms of the consumer price index, producers price index, agricultural productivity index as well as the industrial productivity index, a common man will also be made understood about the performance and functioning of the economy and what are all the developments that have taken place in a comparative manner is also discussed. Methods of presenting the index number is also discussed. The first method is the aggregative method and the second method is the method of average relatives is taught in this lesson. So, here even we also discuss about the uses of index numbers in our day-to-day life and why are they published in the multimedia, in the mass media, and how are they going to give awareness to the citizens of this country is discussed. And the last one is, here the last topic that is discussed in the sixth lesson is about the sources of index number. How are we obtaining this and who is giving us the details related to various index numbers and how are they organizing and collecting these index numbers, everything are discussed. So, out of all these 6 lessons of this part A, you will be made familiar with the topic of statistics, with that branch of knowledge, that is statistics, and how integral part it plays in the economics. Therefore, these economical data are dependent on the statistical tools and devices, so that only they are made easy to be understandable and people without any prior knowledge also can understand about the information furnished through these statistical devices. Thought for the day in this session is a popular quote, that is, we are born here not only to be successful but also to be faithful. Faith is the one force that drives us towards success and helps us to overcome all the obstacles that come in our way. So, with this I conclude this session. Thank you.